What's up, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Another day, another vlog. Happy whatever day it is that you guys are watching this. It's a Friday here, nice Friday night, and we may or may not have had a few drinks in us before heading off to play the sessions, so we'll see how today goes. Action should be packed on a Friday night. We just might generate a lot of action having a few drinks in us because that's just how we are. So we'll see how this goes. Boston Billiards should be a good time. It's cold as shit, so we're gonna walk inside. Anyways, that's all I got today. We're at the door, masks on. Let's get some poker going. Let's play some cards. We hop right into the 2-5 game, and let's get it started with 1,000 effective stacks. First hand in, ace queen off in the small blind, playing 5-handed. Early in the session, the button opens it up to 20. Playing 5-handed, easy spot to 3-bet, so I size to $80, and he makes the call. Going to a flop, which comes king, 8, 4, 2 hearts, and a spade. King high flops are usually going to be pretty good for me 3-betting, so put out the c-bets to $55. He thinks and makes the call for 55. Going to a turn comes the 4 of spades, brings in the backdoor flush draw, and I think now we have one of two options. Surely we can check, but that's no fun. Let's try to bluff him off first hand in. We barrel again for $175. This time he thinks for a little bit longer before letting it go. Nice to get this one through. Nice to pick up the first hand of the day. Second hand in with 10-9 of hearts with an under the gun straddle. I'm in +1 and I open up the action to $40. Folds around to the big blind who puts in the 3-bet to $140. Under the gun player folds and now onto me. In position, a suited connector, always a good time. Let's go ahead and call and see a flop. Flop comes 8-7-3 rainbow. Open-ended here. Surely we are going to be playing this one. He c-bets $110, and obviously I'm never folding here. We decide on a call. The turn comes the 5 of diamonds. So not really the turn I was looking for, but it is better for my range than his. But he doesn't care. He throws out a bet of $225. He's got about $500-ish behind. I'm thinking I can maybe sometimes just jam as a bluff, but I really don't have too much equity if he does call. We're kind of screwed in that case. So probably folding makes sense, but let's try to bluff out some rivers and see some good ones if we miss. We make the call and let's go to a river. The river pairs the board. It's a 7, not really good for us, not really the card that we can necessarily bluff on since all over pairs have improved to 2 pair. So with that said, he puts out a sizable bet and we're just going to have to fold this one. Third hand in with ace queen off once again under the gun. I open up the action to $20. Pre-flop action pretty easy as we get 3 players to call. Going to a flop which comes deuce 3-5 rainbow. Small blind checks and now the big blind throws out a bet of $20. Don't think I can really fold here. 2 overs and a gut shot. Let's just see what happens. I call and so does the other 2 players. 4 ways to a turn which comes the 4 of clubs. This time, the big blind fires out again for $50. Sitting with the straight, certainly can call. Let's just try to raise and see what happens. I size to $125, don't need to go too large with it. The button folds, and now the small blind jams a total of $388. The big blind gets out of the way, and now onto me. Seems pretty gross because I'm literally just calling for a chop. And yeah, that's pretty much all we're hoping for. But as you know, folding is certainly boring. So we toss in the call. He shows us 6-9 of diamonds, so we're pretty much drawing dead. The river's a king, does not give us a chop, and no good. We double him up. The very next hand, we pick up Jack-10 off suit in the big blind. Playing 5-handed, there's an on the gun limp, and onto me. I decide to check it with Jack-10 off. It's playable, and no need to blow up the pot out of position. Flop comes 10-3 deuce rainbow top pair. Let's just throw out a bet of $15. With this $15 bet, he does not fold, he calls. The turn comes another 3. Pretty good card, assuming our pair of 10s has to be good here. I throw out another bet of $40. I'm sizing up this time, and with this bet, he still calls 40. Going to a river, which is an 8. 3 streets of value with Jack-10 seems a little ambitious, so With that said, I'm just going to check here. He throws out a bet of $50 now, and I don't think I'm really going to fold a 10 in this spot. We call and see what we're up against. We're up against ace-3 of diamonds. 15 minutes in, man, we are getting absolutely cracked. We're down $900 already. So we're stuck a bunch 15 minutes in, and this next hand, 9-7 of spades in the cutoff with an under the gun straddle. This is my OG favorite hand, so we're playing it. I open things up to $40. Action now onto the big blind, who 3-bets to $110. Action folds to me, and against the much more narrow 3-betting range, I think we can call wider, is what someone would say to try to justify making a bad call pre, but here we are. Yeah, we want action. Let's just make the call and see what happens. Flop comes Queen, Queen 6 rainbow. Oh, that's not a flop we can play. Here he actually checks, which is interesting, and I can't really win with 9 high here, but I think we can just play a free turn card and see what happens. I just check it back. The turn comes the 3 of diamonds, and there's 2 diamonds on the board now, and he actually leads out for $150. Well, this is a pretty big turn bet after showing some weakness on the flop, checking it back. So with that said, I think we can put one pair into tough spots, specifically jacks and 10s. So we raise to $400, hoping for a snap fold, but if he calls, then we're in a pretty tough spot. If he calls, he has $400 behind and just might talk himself into a river call no matter the runouts. So with that said, he tanks for a while and we get the good news. He ends up laying it down. Yes, we are that maniac. This next hand here gets a little fun with pocket kings and the big blind. The cutoff opens it up to $15. The button now 3-bets to $45, and yeah, on the big blind facing a 3-bet. Out of position, let's put in that 4-bet. We size to $150. The cutoff tanks for a while before folding, and the button who 3-bet makes the call in position. Let's go to a flop. Flop is King 7-3 rainbow. Wow. Pretty dry board with top sets. We don't really love this because we block pretty much a lot of the calling ranges, and we can't get too much value against pocket queens or jacks of some sorts. So with that said, I put in a c-bet, and it's going to be a small one here. I c-bet $90, and I think he's going to have to defend his entire 3-bet and 4-bet calling range here with the small sizing. So on this dry flop, he does make the call for $90. Off to a turn, which comes the 8 of spades, brings them backdoor flush draw, and like I said, feels like his 3-betting range is super static. On this board, I don't think we're really up against too many draws here. Smells like jacks or queens, and I don't think we can get 3 streets of value against those hands on a king-high board. I check, and he checks it back. The river comes the Queen of Spades. This looks like an amazing card for us. Not concerned about the spades, but hopefully he just rivered a set of queens. So, hoping we're up against it, we throw out a smaller sizing to $165 here, assuming that a set is going to raise us, and we'd love that spot. But he doesn't think too long before making the call with ace-king. Wow, this really could have been a much bigger pot if I bet the turn, but can't really put him on ace-king when I have pocket kings. So after chipping up a little bit from the king's hand, we pick up Queen 7 of hearts on the button. There's an under the gun player open to $15, and why am I calling this? Oh, it's because 4 players make the call and we're going 5 ways to the flop. 5 ways to the flop, which comes 9-5-5 rainbow. Action checks to me, and on this board texture, queen high, multi-way, we just check it back and see a turn. Turn comes the 8 of hearts. It is just the most perfect turn for us to be in here. With the gutter and the flush draw, the big blind throws out a bet of $50. Action folds to me. This is pretty easy for us to just flat call here, as it seems like he just has a 5, and we have a really great draw, and we don't want to face a 3-bet if we raise. So with that said, I make the call, very likely to get there. The river is the 3 of hearts, like I said, super likely to hit our draw. He checks now, seems like he's a little afraid of the heart draw, and putting him on a 5, I'm going to throw out a bet of $90, assuming any 5 is just going to have to call for this price. And he doesn't think too long, he does look a little frustrated, but ends up putting in the call, show our hand, and we scoop this one. We just get moved from the must-move table to the main game. First hand into the main game, +1, we pick up aces. What a life. Under the gun player limps, I raise it up to $25, and we get the cutoff to call and the limper to also call. 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace, queen, deuce, 2 diamonds. Okay, top set, welcome to the game, man. I throw out a c-bet of $35. It's a little bit smaller, but pretty much we just block a lot of pretty strong holdings like ace-queen or any ace-x holdings. So I bet 35, only the player to my left makes the call. The turn is not a great one. It's the 7 of diamonds, so the draw does get there. I decided to slow down and check here because we don't really have the nuts anymore. I check, and the player checks back. The river now comes a jack. Pretty good card, all things considered. It does bring in a straight, but it does bring in a lot more 2-pair combos, such as queen-jack, who's going to have to call a river bet. So I do throw out a bet of $90, and he doesn't think too long before putting in a raise to $200. I'm never folding. I'm really annoyed. It seems more than likely that we're beat, but I don't think we're just going to fold for 110 more. I call, and he shows us king-jack of diamonds for the nuts. Nice hand, sir. Shortly after that, picking up pocket jacks on the button. Love it. Folds to me, and I open up the action to $20. Only the big blind calls. Flop is jack 9-5 2 spades. Top set once again. He checks, and I throw out a very small c-bet of $15, and that's just 15 too much. He folds, and we make $20. Next hand we go with king 10 of spades under the gun. I open up the action to $20, and action ensues on this table. Very close to a bomb pot, but no. We only get 4 callers, so going 5 ways to a flop. Flop is 10, 6, 7 rainbow. This is definitely much more wet of a board than I'd like, but we're going 5 ways. Top pair, decent kicker. I throw out a c-bet of $45, and we immediately hear some bad news already. The player on my left puts in a raise. This raise is only to $100 though, unfortunately, and action now folds to me. I don't know how to fold to a min raise, guys. I don't really know. I feel like there's a lot going for us with top pair. We can turn our hand, and I don't even know what we're doing. Anyways, we just make the call because we can't fold here, and we're going to a turn. Turn comes the 3 of spades. Pretty good turn card, brings in the backdoor flush draw, and it's kind of what we're looking for. I check, and now he throws out a bet of $175. Super large sizing, and it seems like he flopped a straight now at this point, and we're playing pretty deep. So with that said, if we can hit a spade on the river, I think we can get paid off and make a decent amount here. So obviously, not priced into call, but we're trying to cooler him here in this spot, so we call 175. The river comes the 6 of hearts. Well, somehow we didn't find a way to go runner. This is strange. I check with just top pair, and I assume he's going to polarize himself in bets, which he does. He sizes to $400-ish, and I snap fold. He shows us 6-7 of clubs, so nice hand, Pat. Super nice playing with you this day. Hand following that, picking up 8-9 offsuit in the small blind. You guys keep telling me to show some marginal hands, so here we are. I open up to 15, blind versus blind. Big blind calls, and we're going to a flop. Flop comes 8, 6, 3, 2 hearts, and with top pair, we're putting in that c-bet to $20. Big blind makes the call, and we're going to a turn. Turn comes another 6. Not a great card for us because he does have a lot of middle pairs in his range when he calls flop. So I check, and he checks it back. The river comes the 4 of spades. I think it's very ambitious for us to go for value for some reason, so I just check here. He throws out $60 as a bet, and I'm just going to snap call this with the pair of 9s. And he shows us ace-6 offsuit for trips. And yeah, we keep getting beat. This last hand of the night just might be a big hand of the night too. In this spot, we pick up 5-7 of spades in the hijack. I decide to open this up to $20, and we get the cutoff to make the call and the big blind. 3 ways to a flop, which comes 7, 7, 8, 2 hearts, and a club. If we're going to play 5-7, flopping trips is going to be pretty darn good. So when the big blind checks, I throw out the c-bets to $40. Can get called by a lot of 8x's, some draws that are out there. Only the big blind makes the call. The turn comes the jack of clubs. So he checks, and now, very wet board. 10-9 does already get there with the straight, but there are just so many different flush draws out there, and other hands like 8-9 that has a pair and gut shot as well. So we decided to size up in this instance with trips to $175. Overbetting the pot, trying to build a big pot here and try to get stacks in. He thinks and makes the call for 175. Let's go to a river, hoping to see a brick. The river is the deuce of spades. That is the brick we were looking for. He checks for a third time, and here with trips, for some reason, I just feel like this is a little thin to bet for value for some reason. Given that my kicker is just horrible, what's going to call 3 streets here that kind of whiffed? So I'm not entirely sure. Checking back seems very weak, so we decided to bet tiny. We bet small to $115. We're going to bait a lot of the Jack X holdings or maybe even 8X holdings to call. Maybe just induce a bluff. But here, facing this $115 bet, he decides to rip it all in for just under $800. I'm married to this hand. We did bet really small to maybe even induce a bluff like this. So with that said, I make the call, and he shows us Jack 7 of diamonds. Yeah, we were crushed. Lose a big pot. We pay him off. Was our river bet too thin? Was our river call too wide, too loose? Let me know in the comments below, but this one hurt. Well, December's kicking my ass. That's all I gotta say. I think I probably could have just checked back river, but we didn't. Married to our trip 7s, and we double more people up. We were in the game for $1,900, out of the game for $321. December is really, really kicking our ass. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Pity likes are always much appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully we don't keep losing thousands of dollars. That would be pretty cool. Back-to-back 1K plus losses. It stings.